Hello, everyone. It's just about 7 straight up the hour, but we see that we have a number of people still in the waiting room, a number of members still checking in. So sit tight. We're going to begin in 2 or 3 minutes. We'll just give it 1 more minute. It looks like we have substantially cleared the waiting room. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good evening to everyone, and thank you for joining us for the 99th annual meeting of the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. And what a productive year it has been. My name is Jim Latore. I was elected to the board in August of 2018, and beginning in August of 2023, I was honored to be chosen by my fellow board members to serve as chairman of the board. I'm also a member of the Potomac Appalachian Trail Club, where I volunteer as a trail maintainer and a certified sawyer. Our agenda this evening is designed to share with you the great strides the ATC made during the past year, delivering on our mission to protect, manage, and advocate for the Appalachian National Scenic Trail. ATC is the only non-governmental organization exclusively dedicated to the management and conservation of the entire AT, and we have been doing this since 1925. Perhaps the most important word in that last sentence is we. You have all heard the phrase that it takes a village to achieve big endeavors. Ensuring that the AT remains a vibrant footpath through a realm of ecological health and beauty falls to our village. So who are we? We are the ATC members and donors whose charity provides ATC with the funds to advance our mission. We are the clubs who provide an astonishing number of volunteers who unselfishly give their time to maintain the footpath, to protect its boundary, repair the shelters, clean the privies, work in the visitor centers, remove invasive species, and perform the many small tasks that add up to an enormous positive impact on the hiker experience. We are the members of the Stewardship Council, the regional partnership committees, and the Next Gen Council, all whose thoughtful input acts as a signpost for decision-making. We're the coalition of entities forming the Appalachian Trail Landscape Partnership, the ATC communities, and the Trail Angels. We are the federal, state, and local governments and the agencies and their dedicated staff. On Capitol Hill, we are the Appalachian Trail Caucus and their staff, who in July of this year, on a bipartisan, bicameral basis, introduced legislation called the Appalachian Trail Centennial Act to strengthen the way the AT and other national scenic trails are managed. We are the members of the ATC Board of Directors who willingly give their time, treasure, and talent out of a passion for the AT and the transformational experience it has provided to so many. We are the visitors to the AT, the day hikers, the long distance hikers, the through hikers, the dog walkers, the bird watchers, and those of us who just want some time in nature to be at peace. All of this is made possible by the employees of the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, who never cease to impress me with their knowledge and their dedication to our shared vision. This is our village. We call it cooperative management, perhaps the best example of a private-public partnership ever established, and you are a part of it. Please know how grateful I am for all of you and for all you do. Now to this evening's agenda. First, we will hear from Sandy Mara, our President and CEO, with a short year in review. Next, Karen Cronin, ATC's Chief Financial and Administrative Officer, will follow with the Treasurer's Report. And then finally, we will take your questions. Please send in your questions as each speaker is presenting. ATC staff will organize them to be answered at the end of the session. You should see on your screen now an email address under agenda item number 3. For questions, please send them to election@appalachiantrail.org. Again, for those of you who can't see it, election@appalachiantrail.org. After completion of our Q&A session, we will review with you the results of the board election before closing out the evening. Thank you for joining us this evening. And now here is Sandy Mara.
Thanks, Jim. And good evening, everyone. I'm Sandy Mara, President and CEO of the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. For nearly 100 years, the ATC has been the nonprofit responsible for protecting the entirety of the nearly 2,200 miles of the Appalachian National Scenic Trail and its surrounding landscape from Georgia to Maine. A vision of a broader, protected AT landscape guides us, yet as Jim said, we cannot do this critical work alone. Our efforts to effectively manage the AT and its landscape are accomplished by bringing together organizations, groups, partners, clubs, and thousands of individuals through leadership, expertise, and passion. All of you joining us this evening, whether as members, donors, or volunteers, or all three of these things, have played a part in ensuring that the ATC's work keeps the trail protected, accessible, and perpetual. I want to start by taking a moment to recognize a small sample of accomplishments and milestones achieved since our last annual meeting. Last fall, we welcomed Ed Clark as the National Park Service Superintendent of the Appalachian National Scenic Trail, and we are already collaborating with Ed and his team on trail and landscape priorities. We created the McAfee Vista Preserve and helped protect in total over 1,700 acres of land from Georgia to Maine that will ensure the trail's scenic qualities and support wildlife connectivity within the AT landscape. We also supported the designation of the AT's first Sentinel landscape in Pennsylvania's Kittatinny Ridge. This collaborative effort will bring together federal agencies, state and local governments, and NGOs to advance sustainable land practices that mitigate climate change impacts and improve land and water management around both the military installations and the AT landscape in central Pennsylvania. Our efforts to advocate for the trail took a big step forward this spring with the introduction of the Appalachian Trail Centennial Act, a bipartisan legislation that aims to secure the cooperative nature of the AT and all national scenic and historic trails. The ATVCA will help improve the coordination of resources and partners for our national trails. It bolsters land protection and provides insights into the visitation and economic benefits of trails to help ensure these special places are maintained and conserved for the next generation. Finally, the ATC has hosted various educational outings along the trail for youth and young adults to help develop a deeper understanding of environmental stewardship, and most importantly, to build the next generation of conservation professionals and advocates. Earlier this month, we had the Emerging Leaders Summit, where we had 31 participants aged 19 to 32 from 11 states. I'd also like to announce some exciting news. Far Out, the popular navigational app for long-distance trails, is now the official hiking app of the ATC. The ATC and Far Out have launched a partnership that will provide Far Out users expert and up-to-date information on the AT provided by the ATC, and ATC members will get a discount on Far Out AT map purchases. Look for more details on this new member benefit in upcoming communications. Speaking of navigating the trail, here are the latest stats on the 2024 hiking season. Looks like a tiny little number still for completions, but this is just the current completion numbers that represent hikers that have officially submitted their paperwork to be recognized as a 2,000 miler. I know that every day people are summiting Katahdin, and southbounders are really moving through the Mid-Atlantic area right now. We wish to our entire Tramily a successful and enjoyable 2024 hiking experience. As we enter our centennial in 2025, we have the unique opportunity to celebrate 100 years of successfully managing and protecting a national treasure and world-renowned recreational experience. In the months ahead, we will share more about how you can join us in celebrating our anniversary in 2025. We really are planning on quite a big celebration. This milestone comes as the Appalachian Trail faces new threats and as its benefits to people and nature have never been more fully understood. We're focusing our work on 3 key opportunities. Opportunity 1, protect. The ATC Conservation and Science Collaborative. The Appalachian Trail and surrounding lands are among the last remaining contiguous natural space in the eastern United States. They provide an unparalleled outdoor experience for more than 4 million people annually and a vital wildlife corridor. Yet they face constant pressure from development and a changing climate, negatively impacting biodiversity and ecological integrity. This program's goals are to increase the pace and scale of inclusive conservation efforts in the eastern U.S. so that the AT retains its scenic beauty, landscape connectivity, and climate resilience. We also look to expand the reach of natural resource stewardship efforts that restore native habitats and maintain biodiversity, which contribute to visitor enjoyment of the trail. Opportunity number 2, experience. The AT Visitor Education and Stewardship Institute. A surge of visitors demonstrates the trail's enduring appeal, but it also means more impact on the footpath and facilities than ever before. More severe weather events affect hikers' safety and the resilience of the trail's infrastructure, including the treadway, overnight sites, and bridges. We are working to increase educational initiatives to ensure visitors enjoy the AT responsibly and preserve the experience for future generations. We are also identifying and with our volunteer clubs implementing innovative ways to strengthen trail infrastructure to accommodate increased use and minimize associated impacts. Opportunity 3, belong. The ATC Leadership Alliance. Although millions of people enjoy the trail annually, only a fraction are involved in trail maintenance, stewardship, and financial support. The future of the AT, the People's Trail, requires a much broader coalition of supporters who care about its continued protection. Enlarging the tent that we know as the cooperative management system through new and innovative partnerships and with networks of young adults and members of historically underrepresented groups will lead us to an even more inclusive and welcoming Appalachian Trail. This work will also help to build trail stewards and protectors for the future. Benton Mackay wanted his proposed trail to be more than just a path in the woods. He hoped it would be a place where people could, quote, find solutions to the problem of living caused by war, economic dislocation, and the ever increasing stresses of urban society. Mackay wrote his vision in 1921. As we prepare to enter 2025, the need for a place such as the Appalachian Trail, a place where we can find respite and peace, is needed now more than ever. Mackay also said a realm and not a trail marks the full aim of our effort. We at the Conservancy know that our responsibility does not end at the edges of the treadway, but rather exists in all directions and includes the trail, the flora and fauna that live on it, the lands and communities that surround it, and the hikers who step upon it. With your help and support, we will continue to successfully protect this realm and the AT experience for all, forever. I'm now pleased to introduce Karen Cronin, ATC's Chief Financial Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Sandy. Hi, everyone. I'm Karen Cronin, the ATC's Chief Financial and Administrative Officer. I joined the organization earlier this year, and it has been a real privilege and honor to work alongside such incredibly talented professionals who care so deeply about their work. I am a fellow hiker, and I've spent time on the AT over the years, mostly in my home state of Pennsylvania, but I've also hiked on the trail in New Hampshire and Virginia and West Virginia. So I joined the staff with an enthusiasm for the AT and a commitment to do all I can do to support the organization's work. Coming on board, I was delighted to find so many loyal members, donors, and volunteers. We truly could not be doing what we are doing without your support. And for that, I would like to extend my gratitude for your generosity. I would like to share the financial results that we've been able to achieve with your support. As we review these slides, I want to note that your essential support allows us to continue the work towards our vision of forever protecting the Appalachian Trail and the surrounding landscape for all to enjoy. The work we are doing not only ensures that the trail is open and well maintained, but that the broader landscape and critical ecosystems are also protected. Our work also focuses on building the next generation of trail stewards who we need to take on this effort into the next 100 years. We all know that continuing this work is incredibly important, and it is our greatest hope that we can continue to count on you for your help as we enter the centennial of the AT in 2025. So let's look at just how important your support really is. The financial information presented is from our 2023 audited financial statements. The chart on the left shows sources of funds. As you will see, the highest source of ATC funding comes from our dedicated supporters, people like all of you on this call. 60% of the funding comes from membership and charitable contributions. And then the second highest source of funding is in the form of grants and contracts, including cooperative agreements with the National Park Service, the U.S. Forest Service, as well as many other partners. And then on the right, you will see that most of this support, nearly 70%, is used directly to fund program work, those critically important projects that Sandy just mentioned. Your membership and donations have an incredible impact. When so many of you come together with your support, you help to sustain our work. And this is precisely how we've been able to do what we've done over the past 100 years. And we thank you for this. The next slide demonstrates the continued need for your critical support. On this slide, I would like to note that in 2023, we received $15.2 million in revenue, but not all of that was immediately available. 2.1 million of that total was donor restricted contributions. Some of those were directed to our endowments or our board designated funding for long-term use. Also included in the $1.2 million was a $1.1 million contribution of land that is being held for Conservancy. Our conservation and regional trail operation programs utilize all available resources and achieve significant outcomes. And as mentioned before, we continue to increase the scope and scale of our impacts, not only directly on the trail, but in the larger landscapes and the surrounding communities. The bottom line is that by investing close to 70% of each dollar we raise directly into program expense, we can advance our 3 strategic areas of focus: protecting the Appalachian Trail, creating a world-class recreational experience, and building a community of support for the A-Tier where everyone feels welcome. In addition to being excellent stewards, we pride ourselves in transparency. So for those of you wishing to explore our financial information in greater depths, please visit our website at appalachiantrail.org for more information. And then my final slide is about the ever important volunteer effort. At the heart of the ATC are its volunteers. These volunteers work both on the trails and in our visitor centers, engaging with and educating our visitors. 4,730 people dedicated an average of 36 hours per person, resulting in over 170,000 total hours, or the economic equivalent of a $5.4 million investment in the AT. Wow, that is really, really impressive. We are ever grateful for our dedicated volunteers. Again, thanks to every one of you. I am so grateful to be part of this team, and I'm inspired by the dedication of the members, donors, and volunteers. And now I'll turn it back over to Jim.
Thank you, Karen. And again, welcome to the ATC, and thank you, Sandy. We're now going to move into the Q&A session. So as questions are coming in, the ATC communications staff is sorting them. And as they're doing that, I do want to recognize the other 2024 board officers. It's quite a commitment of time that we've asked of these individuals. So Nathan Rogers has been serving as our vice chair, Raj Singh as our board secretary, Catherine Ross, treasurer, and Ebony Preston Goddard chairs our conservation committee and is also our board representative to the Stewardship Council. All of our board members hike the Appalachian Trail and bring that knowledge to the boardroom. Many past and present board members have hiked the entire trail. In fact, 3 of the 5 officers are 2,000 milers. You can find out more about each of our board members on the ATC website. So for those of you who have questions, you can see the email address at the bottom there. For those who can't see it, please email to election@appalachiantrail.org. So we do have staff standing by. For those questions we don't have time to get to this evening, we will address them the best we can and try to get a response out to the sender. So let's go ahead and get started. And Sandy, I'm coming to you first. I've got a couple of questions that have already come through. And the first one, someone did the math. When I said, hey, it's our 99th anniversary, someone said, hey, that means 100 is coming forward, right? So can you talk a little bit about some of the planning we have for the celebrations and what might happen on that centennial in 2025?
Yeah, and that's a really great question, because we're all excited here. It's been a long time coming to celebrate our 100 years of service to the AT and kick off that second century. And as Jim said, it takes a village to do everything that we do every day. And we really want the entire village to be with us to celebrate this incredible milestone. So we're going to be planning a variety of special events, activities, and opportunities. And we're going to do things live along the trail, up and down the trail, as well as virtual. We also are planning to kick things off during the anniversary month, which is going to be March of 2025. And we are already starting to plan that kickoff event. And then we'll continue celebrations throughout the year. So to our club partners in particular, and our AT communities, those of you who are listening in tonight, as well as any other folks that are interested, if you'd like to learn more about celebrating this event, you can email us at centennial@appalachiantrail.org. And we promise that more to come soon about the activities that we have planned and ways that you can join in these celebrations.
Great, thank you, Sandy. And it looks like we have just one more question that has come in, and individuals, we still have time, a few more minutes. So if there are other questions, please get them to staff. But it's sort of a two-part, and it does relate specifically to the ATCA. So in two pieces. One is, will the ATCA change the way that the Appalachian National Scenic Trail is actually managed? And the second piece of that is, how will this legislation actually benefit the AT and the other national scenic and historic trails?
Sure, that's actually another really good question. And to your first question, it will not change anything that we do or how we manage the trail. In fact, the whole purpose of this legislation is ensuring that our cooperative management system, that our approach, which is actually the approach that has now been replicated across the country with our national scenic trails, does not change. And right now, while it's outlined within the National Trails Act, a general intent of having the nonprofit partners sit at the table and have an equal voice in how this resource is managed and maintained and protected, this legislation will help to ensure that we always have a seat at that table. The responsibility for the resources themselves will continue to reside with our federal partners. At the end of the day, they own the land. But as you see, when you saw the numbers around our volunteers, when you hear about the work of our incredible staff, when you look at everything that our clubs accomplish, the National Park Service, the U.S. Forest Service, they could not maintain the Appalachian Trail to the standard by which we all expect it to be maintained and managed without the support of all of these partners. And so at the fundamental core of the ATCA is making sure that future generations of legislators and agency directors will always understand that the NGOs associated with our national scenic trails are critical partners and always must have a voice, and actually brings a level of expertise and support that without it, the trails themselves would not exist. And your second question was about what some of the benefits of the legislation?
Some of the benefits, and will other trails also benefit from this particular type of legislation?
Yeah, so to the second part first, the process that the Act sets up in order to become a designated partner with the managing agency, that process will be available to all National Scenic Trail organizations and actually all of our National Historic Trail associations. So while the Act calls out ATC as the beginning, since we were, it was sort of our brainchild, it really sets up a process by which all of the NGOs managing our trails can get the same benefits and participate in the same way that ATC will be participating with our partners. There's a lot of benefits and things in there. One of the most important actually is putting together not just a requirement, but also money behind getting a true handle on the number of people that visit our trail and actual other trails. The way that we talk to donors, the way when we're talking to our federal legislators, people want to know, how many constituents really are walking on this trail? What is it that we bring to a broader conversation around recreational management, to land conservation efforts for these trails? So truly being, we estimate 4 million visitors a year, but for us to be able to demonstrate absolutely the millions of Americans are taking advantage of this natural resource on a day-by-day basis, that brings huge opportunity for us as an organization to further our support and our stature within the National Park Service. So I think that's probably one of the key areas that it's going to be doing for us, Jim.
Right. And Sammy, let's continue the dialogue a little bit more. So questions come in. We understand that the legislation was actually introduced in July, but there's an entire legislative process that's now going to occur. Do you have any sense of the timing around how the ATCA may move through the legislative process and possibly would be passed?
Well, I'm not sure anyone has any insight
Yeah,
into the
we have some
legislative
idea.
process. It is truly sausage making, so you know that old adage. Um, yeah, we it was introduced for the first time. As you know, I'm sure everyone on the call knows we're in an election year, so that means at the end of the year, everything kind of becomes a blank slate, and we start fresh with a new Congress as well as administration in 2025. So we do have plans already in place to reintroduce the bill. Hopefully next year we'll get it reintroduced earlier and it can actually start working through the committee process, which is the next step of a legislation becoming law. But quite frankly, you know, this could take another 3 or 4 years. There's lots of different kinds of ups and downs that happen. Lots of different steps that go through once it hits committees. There's rewriting that may occur as well because, you know, really the legislation is now in the hands of our elected officials. So I would love to say this will, I mean, I certainly hope it'll be within my lifetime, but I can't absolutely give a definitive answer as to when. It would be wonderful for it to go into be enacted during our anniversary year, but that might be just requiring a little bit more of a miracle than we can hope for when it comes to Congress.
Sandy, are there things that members can be doing to help with respect to the legislation?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, hearing from constituents is one of the most powerful tools still within our representative government system. And so, if members, you know, first and foremost, if you have questions still, if you're not sure you understand, please reach out to us. We are more than happy to provide you with more information. And as we move through this process, we'll also be developing talking points that both the board leadership, volunteer leadership at ATC, the board level, as well as our clubs and individual members can use. And so we can make that available to you as well. But, you know, keep an eye out because at some point we will be going out asking folks to please support this. And that's a really powerful tool for us to be able to move this through the process.
Thank you, Sandy. And there was one last question that I think I'll answer, and I'm going to paraphrase it. What is the best way to get involved at your local state level with respect to the things that the ATC needs done? And I'll give you my example. So in addition to being a member of the ATC, what I have found to be extremely fulfilling is to become a member of a club. It's at the club level where boots really hit the ground on a regular basis. I belong to a couple of trail crews. Most every Thursday, we go out and we work on a number of trails, including the Appalachian Trail itself. There are 30 clubs that form that coalition, that backbone of the trail work that actually gets done. That's the vast majority of those volunteer hours. If you're not sure who your local club is, please contact the ATC and we can help you figure it out and give you a direct introduction to the club leadership. So with that, I think we have completed our Q&A session. Thank you, everyone. So let us go to the final piece of this evening's meeting, which is the board election results. So first off, for the 2024 election slate, 7 board seats are open for general election. The nominating committee recommended and the board approved 4 seats be filled by members who are up for re-election. They're Nicole Wooten, Grant Davies, Greg Winchester, and me. The nominating committee also recommended and the board approved 3 seats be filled by new candidates. Next slide, please. There we go. And those new candidates are Ashley Campbell, Lisa Manley, and Rich Dalier. I'm happy to report that 96% of the members voting approved the slate. Accordingly, the 7 candidates are duly elected. In addition, under a provision of the ATC bylaws, the board must replace any board member who resigns before their term expires. There was one such opening in 2024, and in July of this year, the board elected Darrell Smith to fill that vacancy. Congratulations to all candidates and to our new members. Welcome to the board. This concludes our 2024 annual meeting. Thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us this evening. Your support is important to us, whether it is financial, through your efforts in volunteering, or both. It is with much gratitude that I wish you all happy trails and good night.